Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. You found it. This is Daily Dose Radio, your fair trade Bible study, because DDR is promoting the sustainable development of better Bible study on a global level. Yes, sir, sustainable Bible study. That's what we got here. 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. And today we're studying Psalm 25, verses 5 through 8. Listen to these words as I read them. Cause me to follow after in your truth and teach me. For you are the God of my salvation. I wait for you every day. Remember your tender loving kindness, O Lord, and your mercy, for they are eternal. The sins of my youth and my transgression do not remember. According to your mercy, remember thou me. Because of your goodness, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord, therefore he will teach sinners in the way. That's verses 5 through 8 of Psalm 25. It's my translation, so if you're reading along, I hope you are, in your favorite translation, then perhaps my translation will bring out a few things that'll help with your study. We'll begin with verse 5 today, cause me. So this is a causative verb here, cause me to follow. Cause me to follow after in your truth. Follow after in your truth and teach me. There's that word teach again. Now, we had that in verse 4. I said this is the prime mover of the prayer, this verse 4. Your ways, O Lord, cause me to know, teach me your ways. And so that's going to be the thing that sort of motivates the psalm all the way through. And today we're seeing shades of that in verse 5. Follow after in your truth, teach me. For you are the God of my salvation. I wait for you every day. Notice how deliberate verse 5 is. And then verse 6, remember your tender loving kindness, O Lord, and your mercy, for they are eternal. The tender loving kindness is different from loving kindness. The tender loving kindness is the verb that expresses the loving kindness of a father to a child. So it's that compassionate loving kindness. It's not just the distant loving kindness of God to his creatures, but it's the passion of a father to his children. So remember your tender loving kindness, O Lord, and your mercy, for they are eternal. So it's never ending, this love of God for his creatures. They are eternal. Then he goes on in 7 and says, the sins of my youth and my transgression do not remember. According to your mercy, remember thou me, because of your goodness, O Lord. So you notice that in 7, how interesting that is. He wants God not to remember his sins and his transgressions, but he wants God to remember him, not his sins. So he's making a distinction between his person and between the sins that he's committed. So don't remember my sins, but remember me, because I'm a person, and I'm flesh and blood here. I know I've sinned, but don't remember that. Don't remember that about me. Just remember me. Remember that I need your mercy. I need that compassion. I need that tender loving kindness. I need that mercy, that eternal mercy. I need some of that. So because of your goodness, this is what I want you to do. So the goodness of God is introduced here in 7, and then we're going to have it again there in verse 8. Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore, he will teach sinners in the way. Good and upright. So the goodness of God is introduced in 7, and then in 8 we have it again. Good and upright is the Lord. So his very person is goodness. And the psalmist making this prayer depends on that goodness. Now, one of the things that's very interesting about this psalm, I probably should have mentioned this yesterday in the introduction, is that what we have here in this psalm is an acrostic. This is another one of those acrostic psalms, and we have almost all of the Hebrew alphabet here. We're missing, I think it's just one letter that we're missing here in the Hebrew alphabet, but almost all of it. And so you can see as we're reading through here that he's using words that begin with the letters of the alphabet for each of these verses. And the word for remember is that word, and the word for good is one of those letters. So we have that happening all through Psalm. This is really a beautifully done, devotionally written psalm. And notice how intense it is. This is the disciples' psalm. Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to run out of time. I've already run out of time. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll look at verses 9 through 14 tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.